grid launch into action. The Battle of Bathurst ignites again. The fans have gone crazy at the top of the hill. 26-year-old Kiwi Scott McLaughlin wins the Bathurst 1000 of 2019. The Pertec Perth Super Night is go. It doesn't get any better than the top end in winter. The supercar party on the Gold Coast is about to begin. This is wild. Courtney with fresh tyres trying to find the place through. He's turned him into the fence hugely. Oh, what a brute. And that's the McLaughlin car.
Perkins on it again. Hazelwood knocked him off. Brad Jones racing front row of the grid. It's a double header. Red Bull holds racing team down the inside. Van Gisbergen dives it down there and gets there. And Jamie at Windcup. Van Gisbergen makes it 2 from 2 on Sunday in Townsville.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, for a very exciting day here for Supercars. My name is Charlie Robinson, and like all the fans that are watching from home, we are very excited for today. 2020 has been a hard year, but let's bring on some very good news. Without further ado, from Supercars, Shane Howard.
Thanks, Charlie. Thank you for all being here today. For this major announcement for the Supercars Championship. Today, we'd like to announce that Repco Auto Parts will become the naming rights sponsor for the Supercars Championship for the next 5 years. This is a major sponsorship and a great synergy. As we know, the Repco brand is synonymous with motorsport. You think motorsport, you think Repco. You've seen the brand at racetracks for a very long time, through Formula One and through all our racetracks since the 40s here in Australia. So we couldn't have a better partner than Repco to support us with our championship. So we're very proud to announce that partnership today, and we look forward to working with Repco Auto Parts through the championship for the next 5 years. So Sean Seamer, our CEO, couldn't be here today, but I'd like to throw over to Sean via video link so he can provide some details and depth around the championship.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. From wherever you're watching, I hope you're having a good day. It's certainly a great day for us here at the Supercars Championship. I'm very excited to be announcing that Repco will be joining us as our championship naming rights partner for the next 5 years. It's such a fitting partnership that we're about to embark on, and I can't wait to get going. Repco is synonymous not only with auto parts, but motorsport as well, dating all the way back to the success that Repco had with the Brabham family, including 2 Formula One championship wins with the Repco V8. Personally, I've been working with and been involved with Repco since I was a young boy in New Zealand, and it's great to be able to spend time with a brand and a business that cares so deeply about the automotive industry and motorsport. Over the next 5 years, I'm sure we're going to grow, evolve, and do some amazing things, both from a brand and marketing point of view, but also enjoying what makes Australia so special. That is our V8s here at Supercars. From me, from everybody else at Supercars, a big warm welcome to the family, and we look forward to working with you over the next 5 years.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear from Wayne Bryant.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. Repco has been an important part of the Australasian automotive landscape since 1922. And we're incredibly proud of the partnership that Repco had with Sir Jack Brabham. But our involvement in motorsport doesn't end there. During the 1970s, Repco designed and manufactured the Repco F5000 engine and derivatives of it, which powered cars to win the Australian Grand Prix and the Australian Gold Stars Drivers' Championship 3 times each, and the Australian Touring Car Championship along with Bathurst during the same era. So motorsport really is in our DNA here at Repco. Today, Repco has a network of over 400 stores across Australia and New Zealand and continues to serve people who love cars and motorsport the most. They're the mechanics who keep Australia and New Zealand running and the auto enthusiasts who just love spending time with their cars. This announcement sees us further embed a powerful partnership between two iconic brands. It makes for an exciting future for the sport and importantly for Supercars fans, many of whom are loyal Repco customers. We'd really like to thank Sean Seamer and his Supercars team for their terrific support, professional, innovative approach as we've worked through this opportunity together. Now finally, it's a really exciting day for Repco, especially for all of our passionate 5,000 strong Repco crew who serve fans in all of our stores across Australia and New Zealand. Thank you very much.
Thank you to Wayne. Now a man who has won 22 races, 3 Bathurst wins, Supercars Hall of Fame, and seriously, I don't even need to introduce him. I could just say the name. Dick Johnson. Now, Dick, this is very exciting today, this announcement, and I was told as a young boy, you may have started this sponsorship because you worked for Repco.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, I must admit. It was in the very early 60s, and I used to be one of the parts jockeys behind the counter at Repco at Woolloongabba in Brisbane, and it was just a great place to work. I knew all the people there, I knew all the systems that the parts went through and that, so I was really, really impressed with the announcement today, which I think is really good.
Yeah, it certainly is. You know above everyone how sponsorship can make or break our sport. And how does this feel today, though, that we have a 5-year deal in place?
Well, 5 years is a real commitment, so obviously Repco are going to get behind it because you know what Repco's all about. It always starts with the parts. And
you had to add it.
and besides that, I think that that Supercars can really sort of ramp the brand of Repco, and they've been a sponsor of ours, and quite frankly, I think it's just been a great relationship.
Absolutely. Now, you yourself must be very proud of Shell V-Power. They've been doing very well.
Yeah, we could say that. Over the last few years, things have really sort of ramped up for the team. I think now we've won so far 9 championships, and one would hope that another one this year, but that's still yet to be decided, so we'll just wait and see.
Absolutely. Now, just to tell you a little story that I remember when I was a child, Dick in 1980 was racing at Bathurst, and an infamous rock was thrown out onto the track, and obviously it ruined his race. And the crowd got behind Dick and contacted the broadcaster and raised over $70,000 to get him back racing again. Wouldn't it be better to just call Repco like we are now?
Look, believe it or not, that was 40 years ago, Charlie, to be quite honest, and this is the 40th anniversary of that particular incident, so it's fairly significant. It's something that got our team going and has been going ever since, and it's just great to be part of the Supercars deal.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Dick Johnson, for joining us today. A round of applause,
Pleasure.
everyone.
Thank you.
Now, from legends to our newer legends, please welcome Scott McLaughlin, Mark Winterbottom, and James Courtney. Who would like to go first, boys? All right, Scotty, now you know how much Repco means to Motorsport Australia.
Yeah, it's fantastic, obviously, to have the 5-year deal for the sport. Not only are they sponsoring the sport, but also the greatest race of them all, the Bathurst 1000, so it's fantastic. But as a Kiwi, obviously, everyone knows Sir Jack in 1966, but for Kiwis, Denny Holm winning the championship in 1967 and a Repco Brabham is a pretty cool moment for Kiwis as well. So very proud to be a part of this brand and looking forward to the future.
Absolutely. Now, you did very well up north. The car's obviously feeling great. You're in a position for looking like a championship, but I don't like talking that way because we still have a few races to go.
Yeah, look, absolutely. It's a long way to go yet, but you know, we've put ourselves in a position. But you know, Jamie and Red Bull are coming at us pretty hard as well as much as the other guys as well. So we'll do our best in the next few rounds and try and finish off strong.
Good. Us fans love it. Love a good battle. Mark Winterbottom, you're doing very well as well. You're entering in the top 10 for the last few races up north. So you're feeling very good in this car?
Yeah, we're, I guess Team 18 starting to hit their straps a bit, and yeah, teams points we've moved forward quite a bit as well. So yeah, Darwin was fantastic. Townsville was very good for the team also. These back-to-back races don't give you much time to regroup. So yeah, a week here on the Gold Coast, and then off to Adelaide. So yeah, 6 rounds in just over a month. It's been pretty busy, but keep that form going, get our qualifying speed up a bit, and try and get up and challenge the guys up the front, and do it week in, week out. That's the plan.
Absolutely. Now, Frosty brought a tear to my eye on the weekend. I want to know how many other fans, because he was talking about his children and being apart from them. So many of our teams have made sacrifices through 2020.
Yeah, it's been tough for everyone, not just myself, but all the teams, all the personnel, everyone involved. So yeah, I got Renee and the kids back on Monday, which you know, coming back into dad mode's quite. I've had 2 months off, so yeah, it was a bit of a wake up again, getting food and nappies and all that sort of stuff, splatter, you know, the food and stuff like that. So no, it's been great to have them back, and I feel sad still for the guys. They've still got 7 weeks before they touch base with their family back in Melbourne. But yeah, for me, it was a good thing to see the kids, because 15-month-old little boy, and you know, 7 and 9-year-olds. So good to have them back, and hopefully they can cure a bit of understeer and oversteer, and they make me go faster, and we go to Adelaide and get some results.
If a 15-month-old can cure understeer, please let us know how.
They can cure lots of things, so we'll see.
The sacrifice our teams have made to keep our favourite sport going. James Courtney, you yourself have had a very different 2020, but feeling good.
Yeah, it couldn't have been crazier, really. You know, the way it started, and then there was a period where I was sitting on the side but didn't actually miss a round. And then, yeah, came in and joined with Boost and Tickford, and the results really have been quite good. And, you know, to join when we did with a new car, a new team, and you know, having to learn all those different processes, engineers, relationships, then like these guys spending a lot of time away from your family and all that travel. It's been good and bad, and I think the good part, you know, the silver lining to all that is that able to build those relationships a lot quicker, because we're forced into spending a lot of time together. But it's been great, and you know, that's only going to get stronger moving forward.
What a great way to look at it. Forced bonding. I like that. Now, you've got a bit of a history here. James, when he was younger, headed off to Europe to join F1. Now, things didn't actually turn out the way they could have over there, but you've got I've seen you admiring this car, a great history.
Yeah, the one I drove was green as well, but a little bit later model, obviously. But I've got a lot of history with Sir Jack. I spent a lot of time with him. You know, he was quite excited about the journey that I was going on. My first ever Supercars event that I came to was at the Gold Coast, and I was in a corporate box with Sir Jack and was speaking on the day. And I remember him saying to me, we were talking about this car, and he said that I was so lucky with the cars that I was driving because of the safety. And he said because his car had the safety of an empty Coke can. So I can see that standing beside it now and see how much all that safety side of things has come. And thankfully, I've had some huge accidents, and I'm sure if it was in something like this, I wouldn't be here. So it's you know, it's been good, and I think it's congratulations to Supercars and Repco on the new partnership. I think it's exciting for everyone involved, and with the economic climate the way it is, to do such a strong long-term deal, it really shows the strength in our sport. So welcome. Hopefully we all have a great relationship, and I'm still here in 5 years would be excellent as well.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much, and to all our drivers for joining us today. You do have the best sport in the world. Guys and girls want to be you, actually still us mums when we grow up, boys and girls, so you're role models and you do it so well. So thank you all very much for putting so much sacrifice into 2020's racing. Now a man who we love to hear from, they're doing so well in the championship, Mr. Ryan Story from Shell V-Power. Please join us up here.
Thanks, Charlie. So I've been asked to talk a little bit about Repco's motorsport heritage, and in particular, the BT19, or as Sir Jack liked to call it, his old nail. So Repco's a 98-year-old company and started out in motorsport in 1947. It's a really remarkable journey, and it's an intricate part of their DNA. But rolling back from the car we see here before us, resplendent in Australian green and gold, Sir Jack and Ron Turenak, the T in BT, first met in the early 1950s here in Australia. And they formed a relationship, and when Sir Jack managed to find his way over into Europe and got himself in the seat of a Cooper Formula One car, innovatively putting the engine behind him, which was the first time that ever happened and is now the norm in open wheelers. He was actually communicating back and forth via snail mail with Ron Turenak because the Coopers were infamous for not developing their cars during the course of a season. So he managed to win the 1959 and 1960 championships with Cooper, with a Climax engine behind him, and then set about setting up his own team with Ron. So there were two organisations. There was Motor Racing Developments, which became the largest producer of open-wheel cars anywhere in the world at that time. And that was simply because they sold precisely what they raced. And the money that they made from the cars that they sold was precisely what they used to go racing. Separate to that was the Brabham Racing Organisation, which is what competed in the Formula One World Championship. Now, early on into the 60s, they eventually merged and combined those two organisations, and that was when they became the powerhouse they later did in the mid 1960s. But in 1963, the FIA at the time changed the engine rules leading into 1966 to be a 1.5 litre format to a 3 litre format, and that's where Repco comes into the picture. So Coventry Climax were in the process of developing a flat 16 engine for this car, the BT19, and this car was basically sitting in the corner of the Brabham workshop. It didn't have an engine in it. It's a space frame chassis. And talking technically about this car, Ron Turenak, who sadly passed away earlier this year, is one of the greatest engineering exports our country's ever seen, whether it be motorsport or anything else. But his cars were always innovative. He was an incredible engineer. He was always conscious of making a car that could win, making a car that could go fast, but most of all, making a car that was safe and repairable. So when guys like Colin Chapman, who's revered as a wonderful, innovative engineer, the owner and operator of the Lotus Formula One team, had his suspension built into the chassis, had a monocoque shell. Basically, Ron Turenak was still turning out cars much the same as this one, with the springs and dampers on the outside, with a space frame shell, a space frame chassis, and continued on that way until 1970, Sir Jack's last year. So basically, Sir Jack identified an all-aluminium engine that was not used in production, that was part of a GM family. It was an Oldsmobile engine. It was a 3.5 litre engine in production specification. And basically 26 were produced, and it was deemed not fit for production purposes. And Repco managed to buy all 26 of them. And a fellow by the name of Phil Irving worked with Sir Jack to put together basically a blueprint of what the perfect Formula One engine would look like in this new formula. There basically was no default engine for the garagistes, as Enzo Ferrari famously called them, the UK teams that weren't necessarily manufacturers on their own. So Phil Irving and Sir Jack basically started off with this Oldsmobile engine, thought about how they could change this production pushrod engine into a single overhead cam engine to fit the new 3 litre regulations, and sent a proposal to Repco. So at the same time, via snail mail, all of the drawings were getting sent to Melbourne. So Jack got on a plane and went and made the pitch. And almost 12 months later to the day, an engine was on the dyno at Repco's facility in Melbourne, and it was set for the Tasman Series specifications at 2.5 litres, and it was good for about 230 horsepower at 8,200 revs. So it's not quite where it needed to be at full 3 litre spec. But that engine was ultimately fitted to this car. It did a race in 1965 and did a subsequent race in the Tasman Series in 1966 in 2.5 litre guys. And then in 3 litre guys, it took the Formula One Championship by storm. It was basically the only car that was ready for the new specifications. The Italians came along with 12 V12 engines. They were heavy, they were thirsty, and they weren't exactly reliable. But the great secret of the Repco engine in the back of this Brabham is that not only was it incredibly lightweight, being made out of aluminium, it had good power, It had an unbelievable torque curve, so it basically pulled from the minute Sir Jack put his foot down to the put his pedal to the metal, so to speak, and basically through reliability, an unbelievable power to weight ratio, Sir Jack went on to win 4 races in 1966 in this car. Despite the fact that Ron Tourenac created what was ultimately supposed to be the 1966 car, the BT20, he kept coming back to this car, which is why he gave it the nickname the Old Nail, and continued to race this chassis on into 1967. So the Repco Brabham partnership ultimately won 2 Drivers' World Championships, 2 World Constructors' Championships, and will forever be known for Sir Jack being the only man to have ever won a World Championship in a car bearing his own name. And Repco are critical to the success of that wonderful story, and it's something all of us are incredibly proud of. But Repco's motorsport pedigree continues on. In F5000, in Elfins, in Madiches. Frank Madich raced in sports cars and in F5000s with engines that were originally in sports car derived from the Repco Brabham engine that was raced in Formula 1. But in F5000 mode, they started off with a donor engine being a Holden 308 V8. And it was a tremendous category during those years. And as we heard from Wayne before, they won 3 championships during that time. But Repco have certainly been a mainstay in motorsport for many, many years. They've had a wonderful partnership with us over the past 3 years. They're a tremendous partner. I think today's a great day for motorsport. It's a great day for supercars. And it's a great day for Repco. We're really grateful to them for their support. Thank you so much.
Ryan Story, you are a wealth of knowledge, and I'm pretty sure we chose the right person to talk about this car. Do you agree? Well, here it is, a very exciting day for supercars. We could say welcome to Repco, but as we all know, they've always been a part of our motorsport, and now they're a very significant part of supercars' future. So bring it on. For everyone that is here, our drivers will be available for interviews and photos, and for everyone joining us at home, we've got some very exciting races coming up at the Bend, and then we're off to Bathurst. Thanks for joining us, and bring it on.
The long road to the Supercar Championship glory begins right here. 24 cars on the grid launch into action. The Battle of Bathurst ignites again. The fans have gone crazy at the top of the hill. 26-year-old Kiwi Scott McLaughlin wins the Bathurst 1000 of 2019. The Perth Super Night is go. It doesn't get any better than the top end in winter. The supercar party on the Gold Coast is about to begin. This is wild. Courtney with fresh tyres trying to find the place. He's turned him into the fence hugely. Oh, what a brute. Well, that's the McLaughlin car.
Knocked him off. Brad Jones racing front row of the grid. It's a double header. Repco Racing Team down the inside. Van Gisbergen dives it down there and gets there. And Jamie with Win Cup. Van Gisbergen makes it 2 from 2 on Sunday in Townsville.